Hello, today we're talking about how to win government contracts in 2025 with no past performance. What are some things that people can do? And in this particular video, we're focusing on working with two groups of people, that's veterans and persons who have access to military installations. By the way, for those joining us who don't know, my name is Eric Coffie, and I started two businesses who I've helped scale to 7 figures in 18 months. And then I started my construction company, which I took it up to 8 figures before starting to teach business owners like you. So if you meet any of those two criteria, you might want to stick around because I'm joined with a special guest.
I wasn't a contracting officer. I was an actual end user or customer. And I learned a lot of really valuable lessons, a lot of insight.
What he's done over the last 5 years is shown people how they can increase their value.
Really, it's better to buy off already existing contract vehicles, because why would I go through all the paperwork needed? It's not rocket surgery.
If they're already going to use an existing contract, how do I get paid?
Well, essentially,
So Ryan, welcome to the stage today. How are you?
I'm doing good, Eric. Thanks for having me, brother.
So Ryan, as we were talking before you jumped on, a little bit about your background. Can you just tell us who you are and where you come from?
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Ryan Atencio. I own Radium Government Contracting. I'm a government contracting consultant, and I help businesses win contracts with the federal government, mainly DoD and special operations specific services, but also construction. Years in the Army, mostly in special operations. I operated in Iraq, Syria, and Afghanistan. And then my last few years in the Army to kind of ride out my time and decompress, I did contracts and acquisitions. So I wrote all performance work statements, statement of objectives, did all the cost estimates, did all the technical evaluation, the source selection, and I was the COR on all professional services, all contracts for my entire unit. And I bought millions and millions of dollars of professional service and supplies. And that's how I learned contracting. I learned it from the customer or the end user's perspective. I wasn't a contracting officer. I was an actual end user or the customer. And so I had to figure it all out. I knew nothing from the start, and I learned a lot of really valuable lessons, a lot of insight, definitely a peek behind the curtain, how things work, how requirements come to be, how to actually get them on contract, get who you want on contract. And so I took all that knowledge and experience, and now I help businesses win.
Now, it's interesting I like about Ryan. First, Ryan's one of our coaches over at federalhelpcenter.com. So you can catch Ryan teaching on there regularly. And you'll see in some of our webinar replays where he's talking about DoD contracting secrets. What I like about Ryan that's different from people that we've had on in the past is that, again, contracting officers, in my opinion, do not understand how the requirements get shaped. They only put together the final piece, which is the contract, together, but they don't give you essentially the juice, right? And so Ryan is here because he actually developed those requirements. And so what the goal is today is by the time we finish this, we're going to talk to you about how you can do the same thing. Talk to people like Ryan to help shape requirements so that you can create your own opportunities and lanes. Is that Ryan? Am I saying it correctly?
That sounds good to me, Eric.
Okay, good. The other thing that I want to say is, for those of you who may be interested in learning more about this, we are doing free assessment calls where you can meet with us to talk about, because we do want to help a couple of veterans, right? Give back. We're going to drop the link in here if we do a free assessment call with us to talk about if this is something that makes sense for you, taking you to the next level in your business and helping you apply these strategies with Ryan as your coach and being able to now start to win contracts. So Ryan, let's tell me more. Tell me, I'm excited.
Okay. So, point of this call, one of the main points was to talk about veterans and government contracting and the
Sure.
massive advantages they have over a regular business. So, if you're retired out of the military or you have any type of installation access, maybe you work on an installation, you're medically retired, you have VA disability, well, you have access to most DoD installations, okay, with your VA healthcare ID card or your retiree ID card. So you have access to the largest customer in the world, all right, as far as DoD goes, and that's mostly that's all I dabble in for the most part. It's they spend the most money. The budgets are astronomical and they only go up. And there's just so much opportunity, and very few people actually leverage installation access to get to the customer or the end user to capture requirements in the earliest phases and shape them before they ever get to a contracting officer. And I know this since I was a buyer, very few people ever came to my desk or ever bothered knocking on the door to say hello, introduce themselves, their capabilities, and then ask me, what did I need? What were my requirements? What did you need done? Very, very few people mainly big primes is really all that knocked in the door, which it's not like they had special access or anything. They're just the only ones who kind of knew the game and knew where to find me. And that's who I bought from. Bought from who was in front of me. And there's a lot of opportunity. I would say the majority of end users, government end users, are going to be the same way. It's otherwise you have to go find somebody, escort them at the gate, get them on post. Sometimes I would find people on Google. Whereas when these people just started showing up at my desk and they were the solution, like, hey, let us go find all these solutions for you. That was the easy button. And that's who I primarily bought from. And you can do the same thing.
So I want to say this because I forgot to mention this in the beginning. This is an interesting stat that I think a lot of people don't realize is that 95% of contract opportunities are not on SAM.gov. So when people say, hey, I'm already on SAM.gov and I'm bidding, I want you to realize that you're only looking at a fraction of the opportunities, literally 5%. Ryan, can you talk to that point, please?
If you're wondering what to do now that Trump is in office, get a free 15-minute assessment call with one of our coaches. Visit govconeric.com/call to sign up today. Get a free diagnostic of what you and your business should be doing in 2025 to start winning. Now that DEI is gone, all the set-aside debating challenge, figure out where are all the opportunities and what you can do under this new administration to win in 2025.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you looked at the largest piece of that pie chart, a lot of those are task orders, right? And all that is, it's just an order off of an already existing contract. So I would say the primary way I bought was already existing contract vehicles. That's what I utilized because it's a contract that's already in place that I could just send my requirement to. It's a lot faster. It's a lot easier. I would say most government end users, customers like myself, the path of least resistance for them, they're eventually going to go down to the same already existing contract vehicles because contracting, it's for your average government end user, it's difficult. They don't know any more about it than you know about it. So it's all new to them. A lot of them are learning as they go, and you just start to see how daunting and difficult it is to get something bought, especially professional services, but even supplies. So almost always they're going to go look for the path of least resistance, which is going to be already existing contracting vehicles. And that's why you see those task orders are the majority of that pie chart because they're buying off contracts that already exist.
So Ryan, now I'm a veteran or I'm a person that have access to a military installation. Tell me why you explained to me it makes sense because I have access and I can go start talking to people. Why does that matter now? Like, for example, what is my advantage to doing that versus someone who can't get on base?
Well, essentially, just to reiterate, you have the largest customer in the world and you can get to the customer, the
Okay.
user, not the contract officer, right? This is you have the opportunity to get to opportunities in their infancy. And
Mm.
if you're really good at business, when you go sit down with an end user, there's no requirement when you enter that room, but when you leave that room, now there's a requirement. Now there's an
Boom.
opportunity.
There you go.
And you
Okay.
can shape that. You can shape that opportunity and scope it very specifically toward you and just capture a lot of business, especially if you have good people skills and you know this process and you can steer the customer in the right way, the most path of least resistance, speed and convenience are pretty much, they trump all things as far as taking care of your customer.
So you brought up they trump all things. In this era of Doge, does this still work?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's better, really, it's better to buy off already existing contract vehicles because why would I go through all the paperwork needed to put together a service contract and then send it to a contracting officer to resolicit a professional service or a supply that I can just order off a contract that already exists.
Right.
You're reinventing the wheel rather than using something that's just already there, set up, ready to go. It's already been competed. There's already winners. Just push it out.
Okay, so now I'm listening to you again. A lot of people have a lot of self-doubt in this world, right? So we always start putting up barriers. They go, well, Ryan, if they're using an existing contract vehicle, how do I get paid?
Well, essentially, say you came in front of me.
Yep.
I was a government buyer.
Yep.
You introduced yourself. I told you what I needed. You provided me a quote,
Hmm.
shaped it, put it into a kit, made it very specific to you. When I push that to an already existing contract vehicle to bid via email, this doesn't come out on SAM. It goes out to bid to these prime contractors.
Yep.
All right, so those prime contractors are going to see your part number or your service.
Right.
Okay, and you're local to that customer. They already know you developed a relationship, so they're all going to come to you, get a quote from you, add some profit to it, and they submit it back to the contract officer.
Yep.
And then They award it to the prime with the lowest quote, and they just subcontract all the work out to you.
Ryan, is it that easy?
Oh no, that's the gist of it.
Right. So no, and I get it. That's a good overview because again, what we're looking for, right? And the point of this video is because we're looking right now in the month of May to help 5 new veterans to be able to do this. And so that's why I said ask Ryan to come on because 50% of the people that watch me, subscribe to me are veterans. However, a lot of times they don't know where to start, what to do. They're open to businesses ideas. And so we're like, okay, Ryan, let's come on and let's make a video and target specifically veterans who, one, are willing to invest in themselves. Two, right, you said they have to be able to have access to, well, they're veterans, so they already have access to the base. But if you're not a veteran, you just need access to an installation. And then three, they're willing to go out and talk to people. Is that pretty much what they need to do?
Correct. You need to show up
Okay.
because
And
again,
and
there's very few people doing that. Getting onto an installation, going directly to the end user. Very few people are doing that.
and so Ryan, you're going to tell us who we need to go to and what to say. You're going to tell us all that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
all your key buyers in any organization, how to move laterally from one buyer to another, how to
Yep.
gather requirements, shape them so they're very much scoped toward you. So you're
Okay.
going to win almost no
And
matter
you'll
where they.
and you'll walk us through this entire process.
Yes,
Okay. All right. Good. And then Ryan, one other thing. Have you done this before for some people?
I have. So as soon as I left the military, I went and sold directly to special operations and Fort Bragg. And
Mm.
so not only I went from being, the one you'd be coming to see to actually get whatever it is you needed bought, and then I'd swap sides, and then I became I guess, a government solution provider, going directly to the customer, to each unit and each logistics cell, identifying the person who actually generates these contracts, capturing their requirements, giving them quotes, giving them options, and then telling them where to go buy it. So I've sat on both sides of the table, and then I do primarily professional services now, but this isn't something that you exactly forget. It's kind of like riding a bike. And I can still help anybody go through this because it's not rocket surgery. It's really, it might be a lot at first. Once you kind of learn the process and the flow and you understand the end state you're trying to get to and the different ways of getting there, it kind of clicks and you're like, okay, I see how this works. And yeah, it's definitely very doable.
Okay. Nice. And real quick for anyone who is interested in this, I'm going to put this on the screen. Just click this link, govcontract.com/call, set up a free assessment call, ask about talking through Ryan's program. Because again, like I said, right now we have some opportunities in the next couple of weeks to work with a couple of veterans or business owners who have access to military bases. And we're looking to identify some more people to help support because what we're finding is, right, people are frustrated, they're tired, they don't know where to start. And transitioning veterans, Ryan, we want to try to help as many people as possible. So, Ryan, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Again, if you want to also see Ryan in federalhelpcenter.com, you can catch him on our platform. But I definitely want to grab him on the screen to talk about this opportunity and get some people lined up so we can start supporting them. Ryan, anything else you want to say for existing people out here listening to this today?
No. I think that pretty much sums it up, Eric. And just know, even if you're a new business owner or you're already doing business with the government, there's a lot more opportunity that you're probably passing up by not expanding your scope or not learning about these already existing contract vehicles. And it's definitely worth looking into. I can say that. But other than that, that's all I have.
Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate you today.
All right. Thanks, Eric.
I've noticed that in all of my content, around 50% of you are not subscribed. Did you know that by subscribing to our channel, it's a very inexpensive way to help us to being able to bring on better quality guests, more government decision makers, influencers, people who can add value to your lives and growing your business. So if you could today, right now, just hit the subscribe button. That will allow us to grow the channel.